What's up, y'all? It's your boy G with Dad XP, the IRL guild for MMO dads who grind in-game and IRL. And today we're going to be talking about patience and trusting the process for things that take time. And you might notice that I'm playing a game called Brighter Shores. For those of you who don't know, Brighter Shores is an MMO that was created by Andrew Gower, which is the same guy who created a little game called RuneScape. And that was a massive success. Obviously, old school RuneScape is still killing it. That game is from like 2004, and 22 years later, it's one of the top MMOs still with the old school RuneScape boot up. And Brighter Shores is interesting because this game came out about 2 years ago, and the player count is now pretty much dead. It received a bunch of bad reviews and people just shit all over it. And the main reason is because it was released in early access, and there's just a lot missing in the game, and there's not a lot to do. And it's just very grindy with no true milestones to aim for. And so the developers got roasted about this, and they just have not been able to recover. That said, I love this game. I have almost 1,000 hours on this game, and I see what he's building here, and I trust the creators, right? So that's what made me think about making a video about, where things can be discouraging initially, or when things are starting out. And a lot of people give up because they just don't see the progress that they would like to see. So the first thing that comes to mind is the gym, right? You might feel disappointed if you go to the gym for like 6 months and don't see any progress. I know I've been guilty of that too. And then I just fall off because it's like, why is this worth it? I'm just in pain all the time. I got to eat right. And I'm not seeing any gains, so it's not worth doing. And yeah, so people give up. And if you've been doing the gym and you're a fit person, you realize it doesn't take a few months. You may not even see substantial results after a year. It usually takes, year plus, 2 years, 3 years to see a massive difference, but it's very much worth it, right? So great things, everything that's worth getting in life is on the other side of a lot of patience and a lot of monotonous hard work, right? So Gary Vee talks about how patience and gratitude when you're building something, like in his case, most of the time it's business, but it's anything you're creating. That early period is just to see how much shit you can eat before you see any results, right? So he talks about how if you're 30 years old, 40, 50, or 60, you're still young. There's no late time to start. And that's a good mindset to have, And Alex Hormozy talks about this too, where you put in the work. So something I really like that he says is you have to be extremely impatient with daily action and just executing, and very patient with the results, right? So don't even give a shit about results. Like for YouTube, for example, that's the mindset I'm doing. I'm just worried about getting these videos out. I know I could probably talk better, talk clearer, more energy, edit it better. Maybe there's a billion things I could improve. But right now I'm just trying to get more than one video out, right? I'm just trying to pump out some videos and trying to improve one thing every time I do it. I'm not worried about view counts or subscribers or anything like that. And it's just a matter of, putting in the work to get the result. And there's a lot of things in life that a lot of people want, but then when confronted with the actual work that's involved, it makes you second guess stuff, right? So I played in a bunch of punk bands in my early and mid 20s, and you think about being in a band, and the cool part is like playing shows and going on tour and like releasing records and stuff. But there's a ton of downsides to playing in a band. If there's any musicians out there, you don't make a lot of money. It's a very expensive hobby. If you want, good equipment, you got to deal with band drama. band members, you know, and then like you don't just come out to a rehearsal or a show and start shredding. Like it takes many, many hours of boring practice, and writing songs can be frustrating sometimes, even though it's like cool to create. You just gotta find something where you're willing to eat the bowl of shit for a long period of time, because everything that's worth getting comes with its own bowl of shit to eat. Great imagery right there, but it's true. So yeah, and this example is shown in a lot of things in the business world. Famously, Jeff Bezos, he was losing money every year for several years with Amazon, and there's a clip from like Conan or one of those late night talk shows where they ask him straight up, like, why are you doing this if it's losing money? And he just talks about the long-term vision, right? Like, he was cool as a cucumber. He understood he was losing shovels of money working on this project, and then look at Amazon now, right? It's that long-term thinking that lets ambitious people do what they ended up doing. So like what Steve Jobs talks about, how like only the people that are crazy enough to say they can change the world are the ones who actually end up doing it, because that belief and drive overrides any failures or rough days. And yeah, that's where the discipline comes in, because you won't be motivated and you'll second guess yourself on things, especially like I said, if you try something for many, many hours and you don't see any results, it can be very discouraging, and you just got to find that thing that helps you move forward. So to tie this into Brighter Shores, I have so much faith in this game. I have a good time, and there's not a lot to do, but I play this game casually so I can take my sweet time. And they've talked about like how they want to build it out, and it's gonna work. It just needs to get added in. They need to like tie professions together a bit better. The combat is a little wonky. There's a bunch of things wrong with the game right now. But I'm happy to play it, and I support the Gowers, the brothers that made the game. And yeah, I could be completely wrong, and I may choose to invest another 1,000 hours in this game, and it could be a bowl of horse shit, and it completely fails, and they shut it down. But that's where, like, you know, you just got to take risks. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You just got to take it on the chin and move forward. So that's actually an important thing to say. Like, choose those things where you can, you know, withstand the tough, monotonous, boring period, knowing that there's a chance that you might give it up. You have to be real with yourself after a while. But I think something especially that's lost with like society nowadays, everything's quick, instant gratification. I'm victim to it too. Like, I get irritated easily when like minor inconveniences happen, and I try and catch myself as much as I can, but you know, I'm also on screens all the time. I use all the apps, Uber Eats and all that. But I'd like to think our generation, if you're in your 30s, if you're a boomer like me, we were able to grow up with like the last era where people actually had some patience. And this is, again, I tied these back to the old school MMOs because they were very grindy, and you don't really see that in games nowadays. But it's an interesting time because these old school grindy games are making a comeback, because there's like a hunger for that style of gameplay from like old heads like me. But even some younger people prefer this kind of gameplay over like a lot of the big, flashy, quick dopamine hit games that are out nowadays. But yeah, it's interesting. And so yeah, this video is basically just to kind of rant about being patient. Things take time, and just choose those things that even when everyone doubts you, even when everything around you, all the red flags are going off, if you believe in something succeeding, then stick with it. Because if you don't stick with it, then you'll for sure not make it, right? And worst case scenario is you fail and then you have to pivot, but it's not a total loss because you gained skills, you gained knowledge, you gained something from investing that time in that thing that you were believing in, right? So it's worth taking the shot. A lot of people are afraid of failing and they don't even give things a shot. And I think that's why, you know, for things that give you greatness, that is just part of the trade. A lot of it is just because a ton of people don't even try. So nowadays, with so many people being so quick to quit stuff, it's actually a great time to try and commit to something for a long period of time, because you might just win just from the sheer lack of people trying, and you might surprise yourself, right? So if there's anything you get from this video, you know, try out Brighter Shores, you know, give it a shot. But for real though, like, you know, choose something, stick to it, and it'll be worth it in the end. So yeah, I'm gonna keep leveling my botanist level here. I'm about to ding. I'll keep it rolling for the ding. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I'm having fun making these simple videos, and the community has been great. Again, link is in the description. Dad XP to IRL Guild. We just are dads that are keeping our priorities straight. First comes fatherhood and all the responsibilities. We're too busy to do raids or play several times a week. You know, we play games just enough to like be able to chat with each other and enjoy a little bit of the week. I'm too busy to play more than a couple hours a week. But yeah, if you're a MMO dad and you like playing these old school MMOs and you're also trying to work on yourself and you want to hang out with other dads and this sounds cool to you, I encourage you to check out the link in the description. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all in the next one.